also reject him. And Allah knows best. My brother in Islam, now the situation is such that I am desperate to marry. And I have consulted so many people about my situation just to get some nasiha that perhaps I am doing something wrong because I am the one that is to blame. Because I do love my family. And I wanted to point the finger at myself first before anything. Having done this, subhanallah, I know that there's nothing wrong with upholding Allah's law. There's nothing wrong with making Islam every part of your life. It brings tears to my eyes that we often see this beautiful deen so blasphemed, so ignored and untouched. Wallahi, Brother Daawood, if I could, I would stand with my sisters in Islam, encouraging our brothers to fight for his sake, inshallah. I am ready to give my whole life for him, fi sabilillah. In light of all of this, sisters in situations like mine find it difficult to have a way out. As the only way out, it seems, is to get married to a pious brother who will help to protect us, protect our deen, and make us strong in our deen, inshallah. Subhanallah, I have only told you a little bit about what goes on in my family. And many times, I have just wanted to run away. In fact, I applied for a job in blank state at a homeless shelter for Muslims who would provide room and food and also give me a salary for which I might be able to sustain myself somewhat. But I have been advised not to go to this extent and that the best option for me is marriage. My dear brother Daawood, it is not just that I want to get married to get out of my situation, but I have wanted to marry for 2 years now. And I want to marry young so that I can be strong to raise my children who will grow up to love Islam, become strong and fight for his cause, inshallah. I want to raise them for the akhirah, not just for the dunya. Indeed, the heart is filled with grief, and oftentimes with tears that sometimes our parents will keep us from Jannah. I wish my parents would prepare me for the akhirah as much as they prepare me for the dunya, perhaps even more. My dear brother Daawood, I need to get married. And I would like to marry soon. And I might add that it is because marriage is such an endless distraction for me that I must, she wrote in bold type, I must get married soon, otherwise the problem just gets worse. So severe that I feel my iman will just diminish. And you know what she's talking about, brothers, don't you? You know what she's talking about, right? If you don't know what she's talking about, we'll tell you what she's talking about. There's going to be fitna in the earth and widespread corruption. Allah didn't create us, brothers, as angels. And Allah didn't create us as animals. We're between the two. Every human being, Allah wants them to have pleasure from other human beings. And the height of pleasure that a human being can have with another human being is that which can only be provided on the physical level through the marital tie. The actual word nikah has in its root meaning sex. The actual word nikah has in its root meaning sexual intercourse. The sister goes on. She said, Wallahi, Brother Daawood, if my husband never lets me disobey Allah, he will always have my obedience. If he brings me closer to Allah, then I will be the earth for him, because he will be like the sky for me. I'm going to read that one again. Wallahi, Brother Daawood, if my husband never lets me disobey Allah, he will always have my obedience. If he brings me closer to Allah, then I will be the earth for him, because he will be like the sky for me, inshallah. And after carefully searching and asking around, I have chosen a brother for marriage, namely the brother that you spoke to in Melbourne, Australia. The sister, she ends this by saying, in light of all this, the blank brother and I thought to ourselves that it might be in our qadr to marry, but we must do it properly, inshallah, and trust in Allah, for which I have come to you, relating to you the details of my situation, hoping and praying to Allah that you might assist us. In light of this, the brother who is unmentioned and I thought to ourselves that it might be in our qadr to marry, but we must do it properly, inshallah, putting our trust in Allah. And this is the reason that I have come to you, relating to you the details of my situation, hoping and praying to Allah that you might assist us and provide us with some additional advice, inshallah. My beloved brother Daawood, there is nothing I love more than Islam. I seek not wealth, nor luxury, or an easy way of life full of its comforts. In fact, I would accept the Quran only as a dowry from the brother. What could be a better provision than that for your spouse? I chose him for the akhirah, and I keep praying to Allah that my parents' hearts might be softened towards him. He has not approached my parents yet, but we want to be ready for whatever outcome results. It is definitely not the case that I want to break ties with my family. Wallahi, never. I love my family, but I love Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, even more. I pray for my family, and I try to make as many excuses for them as possible. But in the process, I feel my iman is suffering at the same time. My parents are making me wait on marriage, and who I marry is in their hands, it seems. I realize Allah already has my husband picked out for me, but are we not still encouraged to make dua, to ask from Him alone? I seek to live Islam the way Allah wants me to as a Muslimah, and I want to marry a brother who I have found only goodness in his deen and his character, who I know will not discourage me from obeying his laws. My beloved brother Daawood, I do not want to displease Allah. I merely want to follow His deen, putting His law above everything else. If anything, I want to walk upon this earth, fearing Him with every step I take, hoping for His mercy and His reward. I want to live Islam without hiding it. I want to practice hijab without having to hide from my parents. There is sweetness in struggle, but it is heartbreaking when the people you love will not support you in it. I realize you probably get many requests from many people about their problems and their situations. And I can say, unfortunately, that I am also among them. I seek not to burden you with my problems, but I do ask you as my brother in Islam, please help me, inshallah. Please help me, inshallah. Please help me to get married. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. This brother that I mentioned is not unique. I either get emails like this, faxes like this, telephone calls like this, and when I come to sessions like this, I cannot remember in the past 12 years that I have not gone to a conference or convention or done a lecture, that at least on 2 occasions that a young brother or young sister has come to me and said the same thing. Wallahi, yesterday in the parking lot, 2 sisters came to me with the same situation. 2 sisters came to me with the same situation. This is a serious, serious problem. How can a person prevent their child from getting married because of an education.